Welcome to the Political Ferret Show. New content will be uploaded every Wednesday and Sunday, and if you like this kind of content, consider becoming a Patreon and help with just $1 a month to make the change possible. Today we talk about a quite American movement, the Walkaway idea. The Walkaway idea is pretty much that a lot of Democrats now see that the situation that they have right now in America is that they thought that literally Hitler will come over and take over the land, and then things get better for them. So they now encourage people to walk away from the Democrats. Now, I'm not American. I come from Europe, from Austria, so we don't have Democrats over here. But what makes the Democratic bloc in America is with us, the socialists on the one side, the Greens on the other side, and of course the communists. And with all three, I had ties, I worked together with them, I had sympathies, and I was part of their movement. So this is one of the things when people come to my channel and say, oh, you are evil right-winger or something like that, and you never worked for the left. Hey, come on. Most of these guys who say something like that are 15 or 16 and are so stupid to have the date of their birth in their name. So I pretty much know what it is. And yes, there is something that I started to do. I said, okay, pay 100,000 euros or dollar into taxes and then I take you seriously. Because before you did not pay 100,000 euros or dollar into taxes, you have not really an idea of economy because you were not a part of the economy. So yeah, I was left-wing, I was quite left-wing, I was a radical, and it is quite unfair to say, oh, you are not a radical anymore, so you never were a radical and you do not understand what it means to be one. This is stupid, especially if it comes from someone who is fucking 15 years old. So I tell you why I did walk away from these movements. Oh yeah, there is one thing. If you see the right upper corner and this funny guy there, the slogan mit der SPÖ die Arbeitsplätze kämpfen means in German in the same way, fighting together with the party for employment, and it also means pretty much to fight against them to save employment, which is rather funny, but yeah, it's a German inside joke, I guess. So the thing is, I used to be young. I know this is some years ago, and I used to be a left-winger, a radical left-winger. I was a Trotskyist. And the funny thing is, before I did this video, I already started to record some videos where I will talk about points that made me a left-winger and that convinced me that the left-wing ideas are good. And I will go into that, I will discuss that, I will dissect that, and I will show you why I'm not believe that anymore. But this video is not about these points. This video is just about the reasons why I did in the end walk away from this movement. So the interesting thing is, when I was part of the left wing was very anti-war, very anti-establishment, very anti-elite, very anti-religion. They were very skeptic and they were absolutely pro-science, which means STEM. So what does this mean? They were anti-war. Whoever made war, they were against it. It was absolutely uninteresting if the Russian invaded something or the Americans invaded something. They were pretty much anti-war. They always said war is a stupid thing. What does that mean with anti-establishment? They pretty much said that all these establishment things are pretty much entrenched and unmovable, and the establishment will do whatever they can to not change anything, and that this is not a good idea. So there is always a struggle, there's always a movement, and you have always to go on and to take the life as it is and to go on. And you can't say, okay, this is it, we want exactly that point, and then we never move again. This is not what they wanted. They were quite anti-elite. And what does they mean with anti-elite? The idea was there is an elite that is pretty much from old nobility, and that these people are not really fit to rule, but they rule anyway. And this is not a good idea. So those who are able should lead, or should lead situations, companies, nations, and so on. But not this old classic guard. They should not do that. They were absolutely anti-religion. In the 90s, there were not a lot of people around who said, yeah, Christianity is bad, but Islam is good. They said religion is a stupid idea. They said religion is the opium for the people, it is cheap, it is highly available for everybody, and there are people around who will give it to you and then take advantage of you because you are now addicted to the stuff. This is what opium for the people meant. And this was a left notion. And there was not, oh yeah, there are good religions and bad religions. Okay, there were some people around who said, oh yeah, but Buddhism is so well. But then they pointed out, but this is not really a religion. This is more some kind of philosophy. And I would agree to a certain point. Then they were quite skeptic. They said, okay, whatever somebody say, you have to think about it skeptically and analyze it, and if it is true, it is true, and if it is not, then it is not. And they were quite pro-science, which means STEM, which means there was this quotation that everything boils down to either mathematics or biology. And that's it. Everything is either mathematics or biology. If you can boil it down to numbers, this is where reality lies. So, these things all got past. This is not true anymore. This changed. It faded into obscurity. What is now? Well, they are not anti-war anymore. I would not go so far like some people on the right to say that they are pro-war. No, but they are not really anti-war anymore. In the way that they say, okay, when our people do it, it is okay. On the other side, when we had all the wars in the former Yugoslavia in the European Union, the Greens, a left-wing, far left-wing government in Germany back then, in coalition with the socialists, they were pretty much into this war, and they agreed to fight a war there. And they were flamed as hell. On the other hand, Obama were every day of his presidency in war. Nobody did care. So they are against war if the right-wingers do the war, but if the left-wing starts to make war, they are not against that anymore. Now, they are the establishment. What does this mean? Well, they are the politicians. Like Merkel, I mean, she should be a conservative. She's not. She's pretty much a communist. They are the professors. They are in the banks. They are everywhere. The left is now the establishment. This is the long march through the instances that I told so often about. That's the thing. They are now in power, and they want to be the elite. Quite literally, they often say that. They say, okay, the elite is not anymore those who have the money, but those who are very well educated. And when they say things like that, they mean sociology and stupid things like that. And they point to themselves and say, we are the elite. We are the elite of the spirit, we are the elite of the mind, we are something like that, and you have to follow us. Everything that the left says right now, from listen and believe and so on, this is all elitary. It is all the idea that there are some people who know the world better and they can say how the world looks like. So out of anti-religion they become very pro-Islam. There are some theories about why this is so. I made some videos about that. I will not go deeper into that, but they are still absolutely against Christianity, but they are pro-Islam. They, of course, are still in love with things like Buddhism, but this is from 2 paradigms ago pretty much, and the thing is they never understood this very well, and they are pro-Islam without even reading the Quran. I read the Quran. This is also something from some Muslims who come to my channel now and then and say, oh, you have to read the Quran. You stupid idiots. I did read the Quran. This is the reason why I am against Islam now. Before I have read it, I was, well, not particularly pro-Islam, but I said, okay, this is just a religion. They will come to the point where Christianity is sooner or later. Then I read the Quran and say, okay, fuck this shit. They can never be part of the civilization. They can never be, because their book pretty much forbids it. Okay, I agree. For about 2 seconds I thought, hey, if I join Islam I can have a sex slave. And then I remembered that I am a decent human being and say, okay, this is disgusting. So yeah, whatever. So the next thing, they are dogmatic, which means that they went back to Marxism. There is a thing like neo-Marxism. Neo-Marxism, although still Marxism, did point out that Marxism has some troubles and that Marx was wrong in a lot of points. So neo-Marxism tried to go a little bit away from Marx, take something from that, but this is absolutely gone. They are completely back at the Kapital. They all read the Kapital and then say, okay, we have to do exactly what Marx wanted us to do. Well, they tried that, they failed, and you're stupid fucks if you do not see that. So the next thing is that they are anti-STEM now. If you say to somebody like them that everything boils down to mathematics or biology, they have funny words for that. So this is biologistic or something like this, which is so stupid. It is so stupid. They point now out that everything is psychology and sociology, which is from the very beginning quite stupid because sociology was established to fight psychology. Oh, that's a completely other thing. So they hate things like biology and they hate math even more. They hate everything that can be calculated and everything that allows you to understand the world, and which is a little bit problematic, let's say. So the notion now is, and this is the reason why I don't think that the idea is good to call it Walkaway, that you have to walk away from them. You have to abolish your position. This is not true. Because in reality, the situation was pretty much like this. And it looks like, from the distance, that the Americans have the same problem with the Democrats that we have over here with our left wing. They went away. They went to the fringe. They went away. So now you are in the situation that you are politically homeless. They went away. They did pull the carpet under your feet, and you have no home anymore. So what to do? Well, you have to go to the next best thing. And the next best thing are not they anymore. So if they would have only moved a little bit, you could have followed with cringing and with grinding teeth, but you might have done this, but they went too fast, too far away, so you have to go to the next best thing, and this might be the others, the right wing, the center, whatever this is. And in America they have only left and right, so if the left goes too far away and you are in the center and the right is now closer to you, well, you have to go to them. So that's the thing. As I said before, there will come up a lot of videos in the little bit more distant future, I guess, about things that I found very compelling as a youngster before I really started to understand the world. But again, when I then paid 100,000 euros in taxes, I started to understand the things. And lately I talked with my wife and she said, could you imagine that we will become ever conservatives? I mean, this was a dirty word for us, but yeah, that's the thing. We are now the conservatives, which is rather stupid. But okay, that's the thing. If this means conservative, to hold the ideas that I did hold in the 90s as a lefty, and this means that I'm now conservative, okay, I am absolutely cool with that. It should be like that. I don't care anymore. That's the thing. And that's my walk away story. That's the reason why I had to walk away. And sooner or later, you will too.